design's kind of having a moment right now. And if you go to mybodygraph.com, as I said, you can find out what your human design is. At least you can see a picture of it, but I'm here to tell you kind of what it all means. I also offer readings if people do want that. So I have found this to be of tremendous benefit to me and others when we consider what to do with our lives when we're finding direction. So it helps you find kind of like the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, like all the tears that come down, and you're like, where am I supposed to be in this world? Human design can help you figure that out. Whether it's having a business or having another place in your career. And I know a lot of what we've been talking about today has been, what do you do when there's no one around you? What do you do when you don't know what to do? And so this is a tool that I offer to my clients, and it's helping them understand, oh, this is what it really satisfies me to do. This is what my deepest core is, my essence. So yeah, that's a bit about that. I'm an entrepreneur and 3-time author, conference organizer. I just finished a conference called The Party at the End of the Patriarchy. It's been a wonderful journey. It's all online. Yeah, so anyway, that was me teaching about human design at a business retreat right before coronavirus hit in 2020. So has anybody here ever gotten a human design reading? I'm guessing not. A lot of things. There's a lot of things to say here. All right. So here's a brief overview of what we're going to be talking about today. Just what is a design, how it could help your career or business, or your clients, your core strategy and the 5 types in leadership, how you can know you're using your true gifts with the Gene Keys Pearl sequence, and how to find the gifts hidden in your shadows and the highest expression of those gifts. And by the way, this is a lot of talking, so if anybody needs to like go use the bathroom or whatever, you know, take a break, stretch, I will not feel offended, just go do what you need to do. So, human design was created by a guy named Ra'uruhu, which just already sounds crazy, in Ibiza in the 80s. It combines the I Ching, astrology, and the chakra system. And he did this because it just could like got downloaded into his brain one night. It was really bizarre. And I know it doesn't make logical sense, but it still works, so I'm just going to keep going. So we're going to do a brief overview of what this is. So it's basically a mystical vocabulary to describe your personality, your purpose, your shadows, and your gifts, and it maps onto your body. So they took astrology, which is here on the left and the right, and the 62 gates of the I Ching, and the chakra system, which is what you see in the center. It's the 9-centered being. And they put it all together into what's called the body graph. So this is what a body graph looks like. So if we don't follow our strategy and authority, the open centers in a chart are the place where we get our deepest conditioning. So we ask ourselves, why did I do that? That isn't me. And it can create great resistance and suffering. But when we honor the mechanics of our design, it's through the open centers that we get the greatest learning and wisdom. So a channel basically defines a center, and that's what these things are right here. These are channels. So the defined centers are where we affect others and where we have consistent access to energy. So, open centers. So if you have like an open crown center like I do, you might be thinking about things that don't matter a lot or trying to answer somebody else's questions. And the potential wisdom here is that I know which questions are important. If you have an open head center, like I do as well, it's also called the ajna, you try to convince people that you're certain. And it's a center of research, thought, processing, analysis. Having it undefined means you have no consistency in your thoughts. It doesn't mean you're dumb, it just means that you have a lot of different ways you can take in, for example, just thoughts. You can take in podcasts, books, TV shows, whatever. So these are the different 9 centers. So there's the identity center, right down here, the will center, the sacral, the emotional solar plexus, as well as we just talked about, the crown and the head, the spleen, the root, and the throat. So these are just a few of the centers. I'm just giving you a really basic overview here. You'll be one of 5 types. And so if you go to humandesignamerica.com or My Body Graph, you will see that you are either a generator, a manifesting generator, a projector, a manifester, or a reflector. So most people are either generators or manifesting generators, and then we have a few that are projectors, manifestors, and reflectors. Those are kind of rare, but I actually had a reflector at my session last time that I did this in public and in person. It was incredible. I was like, I cannot believe I'm meeting you. So when people say just manifest your dreams, that actually for most of us that isn't really what we can do. Manifestors thrive, and if they just visualize something, they can just basically go for it. But it's only 15% of the population. So, but they can also be extremely impatient, and they can really like shut people off from their energy. And so they need to inform people before they take action. Otherwise, they'll get angry because people try to slow them down and don't follow them. So they just go super fast. Jennifer Aniston is a famous manifester. A generator is someone who has a defined sacral center, which is this right down here. So sacral is a tremendous energy generator. You can just go and go and go. But for you, life is about response. So you have to wait to respond with an uh-huh or an uh-uh. And if you're a generator, like most of us, you have to wait for that response. Maybe it's, what should I have for lunch today? Uh-huh or uh-uh. Or maybe it's something bigger, like, should I enter this business relationship? Or something like that. So your aura is just like a powerful magnet and brings you everything. So your strengths can be that you're energetic and you're a master of your work, and you have sustainable energy and you can be self-aware, but the weaknesses are that you could be frustrated a lot, you want to just make things happen, you have to wait to respond, you can't just make things happen, and you can feel stuck. Famous generators include Madonna, and then there's manifesting generators. They're kind of like a mixture of the two, so you still have to wait to respond. You can do many things at once, you can find shortcuts, a little bit ADD, I am a manifesting generator. You really have to wait to respond though, and you can be very frustrated and you can be angry. You can skip important steps, you can try to just make things happen, and again, you can't do that. You hate waiting, you don't always finish what you start. So once you know this about yourself, it's a lot easier to just pull back and make yourself wait. A famous manifesting generator is David Beckham. And then we go to projectors. Famous projector, Obama. So Obama and projectors in general do not have a motor center, so they need to wait for an invitation. And that can be hard for them because if you don't wait for an invitation, you might get rejected, which will lead to bitterness. So when you do wait to be invited, you're a natural leader. So strengths are managing and directing others. He is an incredible leader, right? Insightful, intuitive, magnetic, and attractive. Helps focus energy to accomplish great things. Weaknesses, people could perceive you as lazy, can burn out, and can be highly sensitive. And so projectors need a lot more rest than generators do, and it can burn them out to not know that. So then there's the reflector. Reflectors are someone with no defined centers whatsoever. It means they'll reflect the whole world all the time, and their strategy to make a decision is to wait 30 days. Not for like little decisions, but big decisions. And that's really, really hard. But it also makes them extremely intuitive. So my acupuncturist is actually a reflector, and she knows exactly where to put these little, little needles in my body, and it really works because she's really attuned to her energy and reflecting out what other people need. That can be very powerful, but you can't initiate anything. You just have to wait. So they are very rare. Sandra Bullock is another one of them, and they can be incredibly intuitive. So, questions so far about the 5 types, the centers, the gates, the channels, so far? We're good? Okay.
Wait.
Oh yeah, let's go back.
Could you say the 5 types again?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, let me go up here. Let's get back to it. So, generator, manifesting generator, projector,
Like I only got 4, but
manifester, and reflector.
Generator.
Yeah, there's 2 different kinds. Yeah. Yeah. Does anybody here, did you look up your chart? Do you know what you are? What are you?
I can't tell. I know I'm a generator, but I don't know if I'm like a mix. I'm just looking at the chart. I can't tell.
You can't tell? Well, if it says generator, then that's what you are.
Yeah.
think I'm a manifesting generator.
You're a manifesting generator. Yeah, well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, Julie said that you always do so much, and she's so amazed by you. So, yeah. If you're a generator, manifesting generator, super common. 70% of us are. So, makes sense. That's awesome. Anyone else want to share? Did they look theirs up? Or it's okay if you don't know your birth time. Only sometimes astrology nerds know your birth times. So since you know that you're a generator, does it resonate with you that you are a master of your work and have sustainable energy?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. So, and how about you, Niarka? Do you feel like you're good at finding shortcuts? You're pretty self-aware.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's how you get so much done.
yeah. I get the big picture sometimes. I don't stay for the whole thing. I just get what I need and keep going.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Me too.
Yep. Yeah, that's wonderful. So that's kind of like the high school, and this is kind of like the grad school. So get ready for another download. So after human design came out about, 40 years ago, I guess, another guy came up named Richard Rudd, and he created this thing called the Gene Keys, which is based on human design. And he used what's called the activation sequence, and he created some key pieces of your life path that are based on human design. So there's your life's work, which is this one here, your evolution, your radiance, and your purpose. And the golden path is finding the gifts hidden in your so-called negative aspects. And so what I love about this is that if you go to genekeys.com, you can find this for yourself as well. It goes into almost the mystical qualities hidden in what you consider your greatest flaws and faults. So it's beautiful and it's really complicated. There's also one for love, and that's the Venus sequence about opening through relationships. And there's one about prosperity, that's what I'll be talking about today, which is the Pearl sequence. It guides you to true prosperity through helping you find your core vocation and your brand and culture and Pearl. So anyway, how can you offer the greatest gift to the world? So first is your Incarnation Cross. And these are the top 4 numbers in your human design chart. These 2 here and these 2 here. These become your Incarnation Cross. So life's work is gate 40, and then evolution is gate 37, then this one here is gate 16, and then your purpose is gate 9. So this is my particular one, this is my chart. And so your 4 prime gifts help you love your life more and find the work that's most fulfilling for you, your true values, your true self, your true purpose. And so I'll show you exactly what this means. So uncovering your deeper self. The red here in the bottom is the shadow side of what I do. So I know it's kind of probably hard to see these little tiny words here, so what I'm going to say is for the 40th shadow is exhaustion. I work myself to exhaustion. So there was a year in the beginning of my business where I just went around saying, I'm exhausted, I'm exhausted, I'm exhausted, I'm exhausted. And that's my shadow. Not asking for help, not realizing that I need to slow down and rest, because I'm a manifesting generator. Go, 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 right? So another shadow side here is, what is it? Oh yeah, weakness. So as we know, when you feel weakness, it's because you can feel isolated. And so I don't ask for help enough, and I've learned how to ask for help in this journey, and have that good key circle of friends around me that really helps. Then the next one is basically indifference, which means I try to ignore my problems and just pretend they'll go away. That never works. And then inertia, I get stuck in a rut. So these are all the shadow side of my personality, and these can be really big problems in a business owner when you try to think of like, oh, I'll just ignore my problems, I'll be isolated and exhausted and get stuck in a rut. So what's the positive side of this? The green is the gift of these things. So if you get enough rest, you have resolve. If you have enough people around you, then the gift of that is actually equality, receiving as well as giving. If you have come out of indifference, you actually move towards versatility, which means you can learn how to do anything. And when you come out of inertia, you realize the gift of inertia is actually you can put yourself in a better groove. And so once you step out of your rut, you are determined. And that's why the gift of inertia is determination. And finally, uncovering the highest part of this equation is what's called the city, or the highest expression of your gifts. So with this, and everybody's is different. Mine is different than yours. Like, everyone is different. So this is just an example. Coming out of resolve, you go to divine will. You can align your will with divine will. It's really powerful. And it's like, that's why I said it's like the pot of gold, the end of the rainbow. It's really beautiful. And then the highest form of equality is actually tenderness, the tenderness that can move mountains. I feel like in the last couple years, we've really needed a lot more tenderness with everything that we do because of how much isolation and powerlessness people have felt. And then the highest gift of this particular one here is, radiance. And then, sorry, not radiance, I messed up. Mastery, pardon me. So once you master one thing, you can master many things if you're that versatile. And then when you find your purpose, for me, it goes determination to invincibility. So when I focus my determination, I am invincible. And so this is why I love doing this with people that have been struggling to find their direction, is because it actually shows you, like, wow, if you move out of your rut, you can get into a better rut, and you can just keep going forward, like, invincible, you know? Like, it's really fun. So that's what the first part of the Gene Keys is just learning about that. And the point is not necessarily to understand it with your conscious mind, but to contemplate it. Contemplate it deeply, and feel it in your body and feel like, okay, is this or isn't this not true for me? And there's lots of journaling questions. I have a whole thing. But I've been doing this with people for the last several years, and people have said, wow, I already knew that about myself. I didn't know how I could grow this way. And it's been wonderful just to see them feel better and better and better about themselves, and be able to coach people into like raising their rates and finding a better job and going higher with their career in every way. It's remarkable. So we're going to look now at the key to your prosperity, which is the Pearl sequence. So again, everyone is different. This is mine. So first thing we're going to look at is vocation. So my vocation, the shadow side is intolerance, understanding, and forgiveness. And so what I've really seen, and what your vocation is supposed to be, is what are you truly here to influence? How can you take initiative? And I might have been intolerant in the past, but see how I could lead people to understanding, basically. So I excel at content and how to understand others, motivation, values, communication skills, etc. So whenever anybody says, oh, there's only two kinds of people in the world, I say, no, there's so many different kinds of people in the world, and this is the system that proves that. We're all really unique, and so as I show you how I start to understand myself, you can start to understand yourself and understand others. So this is an example of that. So the next one is culture. So this is something you can help others with and a way you grow. So for me, it went from stress to restraint to stillness. And what does that mean? So that means this is how culture basically helps me understand how I make money. If you want to take a picture of this, go right ahead. But it basically, I help people go from being extremely stressed out to finding that they can just, have that restraint to say no to things and really just come back to center and be with yourself and be at peace. And then finally, the highest expression is stillness, which is, for me, meditation. But what I've been able to do and incorporate into my events is have sound baths, have embodied movement, have yoga, have people do a temper tantrum together. It's like a curated temper tantrum. And people, it's so fun. My friend, what she did for our conference, she said, okay, when was the last time you had a temper tantrum? When you saw one? And then she had us stamp our feet and just all behind Zoom, so that we could just be really nutty. And it worked out really well. People they started crying, they loved it. Like, the permission to be angry is, I think, something we really like deny ourselves. Do you know what I mean? So letting people just get really angry, it just empties you out. It just lets you feel completely relaxed at the end. Or for me at least, calm, and just, you don't have an explosion by accident, you have an explosion on purpose. That's the difference. So, and you do it without hurting anyone. So the next one is your brand. So this one is sort of like the story you tell, and then serving others through your brand. And so we've already seen this is kind of like a redo, exhaustion, resolve, and divine will. And so this is how I serve through my brand. It's something I understand, the need for full rest that can allow me to feel resolve around my goals, and then helping others come to rest as well. So when people come to me, they're often very exhausted, and I help them understand, okay, what is mine, what is not mine? You have a to-do list, let's make it to don't list. So it's really, really working for people. So that's something I try to make people remember. There's this thing called the Hakomi Method, which is really powerful to remember as well, this is separate from the Gene Keys. There's 4 parts to it. The first one is coming to full rest. The second one is coming to clarity. And the third is coming to action. And the fourth is satisfaction. So what that means is if you never come to full rest, you never have clarity. And if you never have full clarity, then you'll take the wrong action and then you will never be satisfied. So the point is trying to come to full rest so that you will take the actual right action for you. So finally we come to the pearl, which is the heart of how I affect others: distraction, enrichment, and intoxication. So basically the way I keep people's attention a lot with my business and my presentations is I make a lot of jokes. Not today, but in general, I do. And distraction brings people enrichment. It makes them laugh, it makes them open up, and then it leads to basically sort of like almost divine intoxication, which is just being drunk without even drinking anything. Just being drunk on laughter. So some people have said some nice things about me. But this person, I give her a reading, and now she's a human design and Gene Keys reader herself, which is pretty funny. I'm really glad I did that for her. And so, yeah, I do these sessions with people if you want some. And yeah, that's it. Thanks for listening. That's human design.